Hi everybody, in this video we're talking about how to lose weight by controlling your cortisol levels. First, we'll talk about what cortisol actually is and how it affects your body. Then we'll get into signs that you have too much cortisol. And keep watching until the end where we'll talk about natural ways to decrease high cortisol levels. Welcome to the Health How-To channel where we talk about some great life hacks and easy tips to achieve better health. Please subscribe and share your best diet and weight loss tips that you've found to be super helpful for keeping your cortisol levels in check in the comments section below. Pressing the like button will also help get the information in this video to others as well. If you have someone in your life who you want to help, please share this video with them too. Two of the most important hormones when it comes to weight gain or weight loss are insulin and cortisol. To keep things simple, insulin helps to regulate blood sugar levels. Cortisol is involved with the metabolism of fat, protein, and carbohydrates. For this video, we will focus mostly on cortisol's role in weight gain, as well as other undesirable effects to your health. So what exactly is cortisol? Cortisol is a glucocorticoid hormone that gets excreted from your adrenal glands. These little glands that sit on top of your kidneys. Hormones are like these chemical messengers that travel through your blood and tell your organs, muscles, and bones what to do. They're like micromanagers. They're pretty powerful and need to be regulated closely because they can wreak havoc when there's too much or too little of a specific hormone. And because hormones are chemicals, they can accumulate gradually to a point where the body can't regulate itself properly. You can get a domino effect where increased levels of cortisol open the floodgate to harmful effects on the body. Cortisol affects a number of systems, but for the purpose of this video, we'll stick to the main four: growth, mood, metabolism, and our sleep-wake cycle. Keep in mind that cortisol is neither good nor bad. We absolutely need it to regulate our body's functions. And our bodies love to be in homeostasis. That is to say, able to return to a balanced state, not too much and not too little. Under normal circumstances, cortisol gets released in your bodies in response to stress, as well as low blood sugar levels. Also, under acute stress, cortisol's job is to divert energy from non-essential processes like your immune system, growth, reproductive, and digestive systems. When we are in a stress-induced flight or fight mode, the body needs a quick burst of energy. So, cortisol triggers the energy released from our fat stores in our liver as one way of increasing our blood sugar. The other way cortisol can trigger an energy release is muscle breakdown. And finally, when stress levels are too high for too long, cortisol is also responsible for storing fat in our belly area. This kind of fat is known as visceral fat and is wrapped around our organs in the abdominal cavity. Visceral fat is also considered worse for your health than peripheral fat that's concentrated more in the buttocks and thighs. Are there other reasons why our bodies would produce more cortisol? Yes, in fact, cortisol production can be triggered for a number of reasons other than stress. Cancerous tumors can be one reason. Side effects from medications can be another reason. One medication group is anti-inflammatories like prednisone and cortisone, which are geared towards decreasing chronic inflammation. The other group of medications is for hormone therapy like estrogen replacement. The next thing we'll talk about is what happens to us when our cortisol levels are too high for too long, known as chronically high levels of cortisol. Most people associate high cortisol with high stress. It's true that cortisol is secreted when we're going through a stressful event. Stress can come from any number of places too, and stress can be categorized generally into three groups: acute, which is stress that comes on suddenly, like having a car cut in front of you or having your boss yell at you in front of everyone. Chronic. This is stress that happens over weeks to years. Typical examples include family or relationship conflicts, ongoing sickness, being a caregiver, or financial worries. And finally, traumatic stress, which is generally more of a life-threatening nature, like a car accident, war, environmental disaster like an earthquake, or being a victim of a crime. Traumatic stress can also, of course, transition to chronic stress and make us even more vulnerable by lowering our ability to handle less serious, stressful events. I'm sure you know people who have easy breezy attitudes and fall asleep at the drop of a hat. And then there are the others, the ones that get stressed out over seemingly minor events, like when someone doesn't start driving the second the light turns green. They have trouble falling asleep because they can't shut off their minds. Often, it's from a lifetime of accumulated stressful events where the cortisol levels never fully return to normal levels. How do you know you're dealing with chronic stress? Here are 6 signs. Number 1, brain fog or trouble concentrating. Number 2, staying away from family and friends. Number 3, feeling tired all the time and unable to get good quality sleep. Number 4, changes in your appetite, like eating too much or not eating at all. Number 5, body aches and pains. And number 6, being irritable with others and losing your temper easily. Another result of high levels of cortisol is increased blood pressure. And uncontrolled high blood pressure can lead to heart disease, heart attacks, strokes, vision loss, and pain and numbness of your hands and feet. What else can chronically high levels of cortisol do? Leach calcium from your bones, leading to decreased bone density. Our bones mainly consist of a hard outer shell and a honeycomb-type matrix inside. So when we have less bone density, known as osteopenia at the beginning, the honeycomb structure is bigger, meaning bigger holes, meaning less structure and stability. Once the bone quality becomes so poor that the bones are fragile and break easily, we're into a stage called osteoporosis. When you think of osteoporosis, think bone that is porous or full of holes. We definitely want to avoid that situation. However, by the time we actually see the signs of osteoporosis, the damage is pretty extensive. Check out our video on osteoporosis for tips on how to build stronger bones. As we know, normally cortisol helps to raise blood sugar from the fat that's stored in your liver in response to stress. By having more blood sugar, you have a quick source of energy and theoretically fight or run away from whatever it is that's causing you stress. So you can see how if your cortisol levels are always high from long-term stress, your blood sugar levels will also be high. And what does that mean? You could be well on your way to getting type 2 diabetes. Chronically high cortisol is also linked to weight gain. When your cortisol levels are too high, it can drive up your appetite and will signal your body to store more belly fat. A waist to hip ratio measurement can tell you if your belly fat is a sign that your health is at risk. It may seem counterintuitive, since cortisol will initially improve your immune system by keeping inflammation at bay, but high chronic cortisol levels can actually lead to more inflammation. Add high amounts of inflammation to high levels of stress, and you can get flare-ups of conditions like fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, shingles, and even the common cold and flu. High cortisol levels can lead to insomnia. We've all been told how important it is to get a good night's sleep. Normally, cortisol follows a 24-hour pattern where levels are highest in the morning and start to fall as the day goes on. By the time you're getting ready for bed, your cortisol levels should be at its lowest. Have you ever tossed and turned all night because your mind was wired? Then you're cranky and tired the next day? So you turn to food to give you a quick energy boost. You can easily see how this kind of merry-go-round could lead to weight gain, more stress and anxiety, and other mood disorders. High chronic levels of cortisol can also be linked with low energy and muscle weakness because cortisone can trigger muscle breakdown. And finally, since cortisol is also involved with short-term emotional memory, an excessive amount of cortisol can lead to feelings of brain fog. Now that we know what too much cortisol can do, how can we lower our cortisol levels without medication? Here are 8 natural ways to reduce cortisol. Number 1, moderate physical activity. Counteract your mental stress by giving your body a physical outlet to release the adrenaline and cortisol. Notice I said moderate. Sometimes too much activity can also cause too much stress on the body and elevate your cortisol. You need to be honest with your level of activity. If you're feeling soreness for a few days after workout, then you need to let your body recover. Otherwise, for the rest of us, we could stand to get it up a notch. Number 2, control your stress. Of course, this is easier said than done. Check out our video on how to reduce stress and anxiety naturally. Being able to shift our thinking is really an important skill that, like any skill, we really need to practice to get good at. Number 3, deep breathing. How did you know that deep breathing would be on the list of how to decrease stress? Why does everybody talk about deep breathing? We know that cortisol stimulates the flight or fight sympathetic system. To counteract it, inhale deeply for more oxygen and then exhale all of that carbon dioxide to stimulate your parasympathetic system, your rest and digest system. Number 4, sleep. Getting adequate amounts of good quality sleep is a whole other complex topic in itself. You may suffer from insomnia, sleep apnea, or chronic pain, or you might be a night shift worker, or you might just be addicted to scrolling on your phone all night long. Check out our video on sleep for tips on how to get to sleep faster. Number 5, every day find a small way to enjoy yourself and truly be present. Make time for a hobby, watch a funny movie, read a book, or learn something new. Put it in your daily schedule and protect that me time. Number 6, find your tribe. Seek out people who really get you and who you thoroughly enjoy spending time with. Avoid passive-aggressive, negative, energy-sucking people as much as you can. Number 7, a recent study showed that taking more omega-3 supplements during times of stress helped to decrease high levels of cortisol and inflammation. A good source of omega-3 is cod liver oil. Number 8, and finally, consider getting a pet. Even the act of petting an animal can lower your cortisol levels. There's a reason why therapy animals are a thing. If you have some great health tips that helped you lose weight by lowering your stress and cortisol levels, I'd really appreciate it if you could share them down below in the comment section so that we can all benefit in our personal journey to better health. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any health how-to videos where we talk about easy ways to improve your health. Also, please press that like button because it can really help get this information to those that need it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.